Welcome to Stewart Science. Today we're going to be talking about vectors. Now, vectors might seem like a confusing idea. It might be a new word for you, but I promise this will be a quick video. It's pretty easy. Basically, there's two kinds of numbers. There's vector measurements and scalar measurements. Vector measurements have a magnitude, which is just a number or a strength, and a direction. Scalar measurements are just numbers. So if you're going to say my weight, I'm 190 pounds, I'm 6'2", those are scalar numbers. I don't say I'm 6'2" left or I'm 185 pounds up. That's confusing. That makes no sense because those are scalar numbers. There's no direction to them. Now, if I was going to tell you where I went, I might say, oh, I took a bike ride. I went 10 miles north. That's a vector measurement because I gave you a direction to. So if it has a direction, it's a vector. If it has no direction, it's scalar. Now we usually use what's called the coordinate grid to talk about vectors. So in my class, I only have to talk about vectors as up, down, and left and right. There's no diagonals or angles involved. Now in other classes, there's a lot of angles involved. So if you came here looking for sine, cosine, tangent using vector quantities, sorry, that's above my pay grade. This is a 9th grade video, so there are only up, down, left, and right vectors in this video. So this example right here on my screen, this is a vector, and we can count how many boxes there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we would say this is 6 units up. The arrow is pointing up, there's our direction, and the magnitude or strength is 6 because there's 6 boxes. It's that easy. Here's a different arrow. Again, if I want to know the magnitude of this arrow, of this vector, I just need to count the boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's 12 units, and it's down. It's that easy. So the direction is down, the magnitude is 12. Here's another one. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 units to the right. Magnitude 13, direction right, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Magnitude 8, direction still right. As I mentioned, vectors could also be at a diagonal. This is a vector, and it has a side-to-side piece and an up and down piece. And basically what we do in this case is we turn it into a right triangle. We count how many over, we count how many up, and then we use the Pythagorean theorem to find the hypotenuse of that triangle. So my over, my up, and I'm looking for the hypotenuse. There's my numbers. 6 squared plus 3 squared, take the square root of that, you get 6.71. So the only thing I need to actually worry about here is what I do if there's more than one. And it's a very, very simple answer. If you have more than one vector, all you do is add. That's it. Now, in some cases, our vectors might be going left or down. And if we look at a Cartesian coordinate grid, like this familiar coordinate grid, anything to the left, anything in this zone, that's in the negative x, and anything down here is in the negative y zone. So if they're going left or down, we would use a negative when we add them. If I have more than one arrow, all I have to do is very simple, add them. If you have more than one vector, all you do is add up all the vectors. Now the only thing that's confusing, as I mentioned, is left is a negative and down is a negative. So if your arrow goes to the left, it's a negative number that you're adding, and if it goes down, it's also a negative number that you're adding. Here's a very simple example. 2 lines. The top one is 5 units long. The bottom one is 3 units long. And these are scalar right now because I haven't given you any direction to the arrows. If I add a direction to them, like I said, the top one is 5, the bottom one is 3. So we're going to add them together. 3 plus 5 is 8. I will get one arrow that goes to the right, 8. Something like that. That's adding vectors. Very simple. If one of these is a negative, now I would have 5 plus a negative 3. And so my overall final vector would just be 2. To the right. 5 plus negative 3 is positive 2. It's that easy. Now if I have 2 negative arrows, now I have negative 5 plus negative 3, which would be one arrow to the left, negative 8. That easy. That's all there is to it. Magnitude is the length of your arrow, or the strength. It's your number. Direction is just that. It's a direction. Usually we communicate direction as a positive or a negative. This is Mr. Stewart. As always, keep learning no matter what.